find out the critical length for the critical length on a flat plate, or what is the length of the laminar flow region. So how can I find out the laminar flow length region? By using the Reynolds number. So as we know that Reynolds number is defined as rho v L by mu for a surface flows or for the external flows, for external flows. So in order to talk about this Reynolds number, we should know about so what exactly the Reynolds number value, or the Reynolds number range for the case of external flows, so in case of external flows, so what is the Reynolds number I am supposed to maintain to obtain? So what is the Reynolds number to obtain laminar fluid flow? So what is the in order to obtain laminar fluid flow, so what is the range of this particular one? So in order to obtain, so what is the range of the Reynolds number? So when you want to obtain the laminar fluid flow, the Reynolds number should be less than Reynolds number should be less than 2 into 10 to the power of 5. So when you want to get the laminar flow over the flat plate for external flow case, the laminar flow, so that the Reynolds number should be less than 2 into 10 to the power of 5. And when it is in the transition zone, so that means the Reynolds number can be in the range of greater than 2 into 10 to the power of 5, and less than 4 into 10 to the power of 5 when your Reynolds number is falling. So that means the fluid flow is going under the transition zone. And when your Reynolds number is greater than, so that means when you want to obtain the turbulent flows, so in that case you are supposed to maintain your Reynolds number should be greater than 4 into 10 to the power of 5. Then we can achieve the turbulent flows over the bodies. And these are all applicable for the external flows. These are all applicable for the external flows. So in order to obtain the Reynolds number to be laminar, so now our interest is to find out the critical length. So our interest is to find out critical length, so that it is critical length up to which length I can say that, or XCR, what is the critical length on this particular one for the fluid flow, to get the laminar region, to get up to the length of laminar region. So but I'm not sure what is the critical length of this one, but I know the inputs, like it is the Reynolds number is supposed to be, so that it is supposed to be less than 2 into 10 to the power of 5. So let me take Reynolds number. If it is equivalent to 2 into 10 to the power of 5, let me find out the maximum range. And the velocity of the fluid flow is 5 meters per second. Velocity of the fluid flow is 2 into 5 meters per second. And density of it is, so density of the air, let me take air, 1.225 kg per meter cube. Density of the air is 1.225 kg per meter cube. And viscosity of the air is 1.785 into 10 to the power of minus 5. This is the viscosity of the air. Now tell me, what is the critical length? What is the critical length for this one in order to obtain laminar fluid flow over the flat plate? In order to obtain laminar fluid flow over the flat plate. So up to which length I can get the laminar fluid flow? And this way by substituting this values in this, so just substitute that XCR is equal to Reynolds number into, so that is 2 into 10 to the power of 5 into 1.785 into 10 to the power of minus 5 divided by, that it is density is 1.225 into, so that the velocity is 5 meters per second. So just by substituting this one, we'll get the critical length up to which the Reynolds number can be maintained laminar. We can get the critical length up to which the Reynolds number can be maintained laminar. So after finding this XCR, we will be getting the XCR is equal to 0.52 meters. Very good. So this is 0.52 meters we are getting. It is a critical length. So that means in up to, so that means from the point, initial point. So that is the overall length from the initial point up to 0.52 meters. Up to 0.52 meters when I'm traveling with the velocity, or when the fluid is traveling with the 5 meters per second, up to 0.52 meters. So that means the flow can be maintained laminar. This is how we need to find out. So how the fluid flow, or where the fluid flow will be changing from laminar to the turbulent or transition, so that it is the Reynolds number can be best utilized in these cases. Best utilized in order to predict the fluid flow behavior. In order to predict the fluid flow behavior. And this is how we have to approach to the numerical when we are solving it. So these are all the standard conditions that it should be less than 2 into 10 to the power of 5 or equal to 2 into 10 to the power of 5. Then it should be greater than 2 into 10 to the power of 5 and within less than 4 into 10 to the power of 5. Then only it can reach into the transition zone. And when the Reynolds number is greater than 4 into 10 to the power of 5, then only it can become turbulent fluid flow. So that means here the parameters are like your density, velocity, length, and the viscosity. This you can vary and you can find out what is the unknown value or the critical length of this particular one in order to maintain the laminar fluid flow can be obtained by this approach. Can be obtained by this way approaches. Okay. So now let us see some practical understanding of this related to this one. Let us see some practical understanding related to this all. So what exactly this fluid flows would be behaving in real experiments. Yeah. So here, if you see here in the first animation, so this which is best demonstrating that flow over a flat plate. Flow over a flat plate. Here, if you see the flow over a flat plate, so the flow profile is completely parabolic in nature. Yes. Whatever we have discussed, yes, finally, yes. After this, there is no variation noticed. After this, there is no variation noticed on this particular boundary layer. But from the initial point when we notice it here on this one, up to this extent, the flow is continuously varying. So that means till this region, I can say that this is our delta. So that is our delta, means that is our boundary layer thickness. That is our boundary layer thickness developed over that particular developed by that particular fluid flow on that solid body when it is moving with certain velocity v infinity. When it is moving with certain velocity v infinity. So for you to better understand, I'll again animate this one. So I will look. Yes, sir. So this is best demonstrating, yes, this how. So this line is also showing that up to this region, the flow profile is varying. After that, it is approximately equal to it. Okay, let us see on the other side of it in order to get a more visualization related to this particular boundary layer theory or the understanding. So here we have on the two sides of the plate. On the two sides of the plate, the fluid is moving. On the two sides of the plate, the fluid is moving, but the behavior of the fluid is not same. Behavior of the fluid is not same. We go with an approaches, or generally we'll go with an approach. So these are all the experimental images brought here for your understanding. So let us see what exactly is. Yes, this is what when we are talking about the fluid flow behavior. Yes, initially the fluid was entering, and there we can see certain disturbance. So that means initially up to certain zone, laminar, then again transition, then again turbulent zone. So that it is a laminar boundary layer, then again in between the turbulent zone, then again a turbulent, laminar zone, transition zone, and then again turbulent zone within this region. So as we have seen in the earlier image we have seen that only we are keeping it. So this image I'm just putting it in a graphical view, or what do you put it in your notebook? Okay, or on paper. On paper, how do we draw it? So that images I have brought it here, and now let us see what is the physics happening behind this one. What is the physics happening in this one? So let us relate our concepts which we have studied earlier. So that it is the shear stress. That it is the shear stress. So when we notice it on this, one, the shear layer concepts at the initial point, or where the flow hits on this particular body, the shear has become maximum. The shear has become maximum at this particular point, and as I am moving along this particular length of the flat plate, the shear got decreased, and if you see at the region where it is entering into the transition zone, the shear effectively again, so that means shear has continuously got, the wall shear stress has got reduced slowly, And again, in the transition zone, the wall shear stress is again increased, but it has not reached to a value, but it is not able to reach to a value of as initially it was developing. So that tau W was not developed, but again it has incremented. So with an increment it is moving. So that region, when we are mapping onto this particular location, so that it is going on to the transition, and then in the turbulent zone, the shear is getting reduced. Now we can say that that means in the turbulent zone, the wall shear is getting reduction. The wall shear stress is getting reduction in the turbulent zone. Wall shear stress is very high initially in the laminar zone, but along the length of the plate, and the fluid is continued to move, the shear stress is slowly reduced, but in the transition zone again increased, but in the turbulent zone, the shear stress is decreased. So in the laminar zone, shear stress increases, whereas in the turbulent zone, shear stress decreases. So that is what the general understanding you have to deal with respect to the physics of this particular problems. Why it is important? Now the question comes, sir, why it is important? Why we need to study about the boundary layer concepts or the boundary layer problem? Because as this particular boundary layer or this surface may be even any aircraft surface, when you are talking about this aircraft surface, that aircraft surface which is resulting in the forces relative from the shear stress, that will be called as a drag force. In order to reduce the drag forces, one of the force, if you can reduce, that it is if you can reduce the wall shear stress, so that means obviously your drag also can be reduced. So that means even our drag also can be reduced when you are reducing the shear stress on the walls of the body or walls of the aircraft or walls of the wings or surfaces of the wings. So when you are reducing it, drag on the aircraft also can be reduced, or CD can be reduced. When CD is reduced, CL can be improved. By improving the CL, so that means easy lift can be achieved on this particular aircraft. So, but don't correlate to the CD and the CL here in this one. So I just want to say about the words related to that, so that it is CD can be reduced, which indirectly improves the CL, which can enhance the performance of the aircraft. Okay, so that is how this particular fluid flow varying over the body, boundary layer thickness, and shear stress variation over the bodies, right? So these are all resulting in the fluid flows and behavior of the fluid flows on the bodies.